Welcome to the battlefield of brains, where strategy meets chaos and every move burns with intensity. Watch grandmasters clash, pieces fall, and legends rise. The battle bell rings, Nepomniachtchi slams one. C4. Into the field, a probing spear at the center. Ian shouts, "Let's dance, Hikaru!"
Near the Dilko, and then Soflobizin, Astia.
Hikaru answers coolly with 1.
Unternabator.
A5. A black pawn planted in the heart like a gauntlet thrown. Territory claimed, no hesitation. Nepo brings out 2. NC3. Knight staking central squares and flexing its muscles. Development with attitude. Ian building a fighting squad. Hikaru snaps 2.
Einstein. And Modeling Mo. Escende. Ente. In Weinschaltzei.
F6. A knight hops into the fight. Eyes on C4 and E4. Subtle pressure. Black's cavalry awakens. Nepo plays 3 Dortain.
Henin.
F3. Another knight up, forming a double threat. Ian's troops coordinate, ready to pounce or parry. Hikaru replies 3 points.
Indian. Onni. Onan. Edawanyanye. Antinbolian. Admo. I dan. Ha. Ow. Ansh.
Ng6. Symmetric thunder. Knight to chicks, contesting the center and daring white to overreach. Tension thickens. Nepo tucks 4. E3. Pawn shields the bishop and opens lanes. Modest but venomous, Ian quietly prepares his long-range artillery. Hikaru flashes 4 Torio.
Andersen. Endanio Ensene.
Nissi. BB4. Bishop pins on C3, like a sniper pointing at white's heart. Pressure on the knight. Psychological squeeze. Nepo slides 5 to C. QC2. Queen interposes to unpin and eyeball C4. Queen says, "Back off," while keeping an eye on the board's pulse. Hikaru bites 5 to step penguin.
Pixo is in Kiwis Tadistan. Nenan. A. Anna.
BXD3. Bishop captures the knight on C3. First material scar. Black draws first blood, disrupting white's structure. Nepo immediately recaptures 6. QXC3. Queen scoops up that bishop. Queen now prowls the board, both a rescuer and a warning sign. Hikaru calmly plays 6.
10. N.
QE7. Queen steps into safety and support. Black coordinates pieces, preparing to roll the engine forward. Nepo bangs 7 points. A3. Chasing the intruder away like, "Get off my lawn!" A tempo to push back Black's minor piece ambitions. Hikaru castles 7 port.
Interna. No. Dannen. Enkide. Nobinain.
Oh, King tucked and Rook activated. Hikaru signals. Fortress secured. Heavy pieces ready to thunder down files.
Nepo strides 8 persistin. Tuwomen show initiuen.
B4, grabbing queenside space and kicking at the knight. Ian's pawns become soldiers, pushing black's shape around.
Hikaru replies 8 torn. Anime. Mini. 1.
6. A fortress pawn laid down to stabilize the center. Patient and solid, Hikaru refuses to be rushed.
Nepo lines up. 9 turomuni in a way, but still.
BB2. Bishop aiming down the long diagonal like a loaded crossbow. White's long-range threat grows ominous.
Hikaru punches with 9 terion, diondinocliao. Internimhi. In. Iamai.
A5. A queenside riposte to blunt White's B4 advance. The board smells of gunpowder and counterplay.
Nepo frusts 10.
B5. Pawn boots the knight backward and cramps black's shape. Ian presses, forcing concessions with blunt aggression.
Hikaru retreats 10. Hiluaseninmo. Andin nuenenda. Dandinia.
Knight pulls back to safety. Looks passive, but it's a tactical redeployment. The knight hides to strike anew.
Nepo storms 11. Binden.
D4, opening the center like a general ordering charge. White demands action. The board will erupt now.
Hikaru smashes 11. In so Melbourne Tingerwister passage 11. And Nennen? In Danyanbo, in the Ro in Danyasima.
X4. Pawn from E5 captures on D4 and the center explodes. First real central trade, steel meets steel.
Nepo retorts 12 porte.
Coup X4. Queen recaptures on D4 and plants herself centrally. Ian's queen now dominates squares and dares black to answer.
Hikaru develops 12 pace. Anan. Chi. Nash.
NBD7, Knight slides in as backup muscle. Black builds a coordinated response, pieces lining up like assault troops.
Nepo deploys 13 men.
BD3, Bishop into the fight aiming kingside. He's planting seeds of attack while keeping the king's zone tidy. Hikaru shores up with 13.
Aninai. Noneno penisen in Morukimenishkiwazen, Anumis Japan.
B6. A pawn to fledge the bishop and secure queenside dark squares. Practical, preparing counter-diagonals.
Nepo castles 14 pence.
king slotted to safety and rook awakened. Ian finishes development, readying heavy metal for the central clash. Hikaru answers, 14 pawn. Is. And done. bb7, bishop slides onto long diagonal. Black's dark squared. Bishop now stares down white's camp like a hawk. Nepo hops 15k. nh4. Knight jumps toward enemy lines with mercenary intent. Ian teases attack. Eyes set on 5g6, potential fireworks. Hikaru prowls 15. In. Andelinan. K5. Queen forward with attitude, centralizing and probing. Hikaru says, let's get real, bringing the queen into the fray. Nepo fires 16. Fawa. Pawn shove, chasing the queen and opening lines. Aggressive. Ian wants reckoning and to rip open black's center. Hikaru responds 16. Mun. Andy. Nay. And Tace. Qxt4. Queen captures on d4, taking the centralized queen square fight into exchange. Material simplification with intent. Nepo retakes 17. Pool. X4. Pawn from e3 recaptures on d4. Structure altered. White's pawn becomes a central spear but also a target. Hikaru plants 17. Pawn. Na. Win. Before, bishop to Ifawa occupying a dominant outpost. Black's bishop nails itself into white's camp, menacing tactics ahead. Nepo replies 18. B2. Bishop retreats to block and defend the king. Ian shuffles into a tighter defensive shell while still craving counterfire. Hikaru answers 18 posture. Enzolda. Inman. 8. Rook steps into the central file like a tank rolling onto the main road. Heavy artillery deployed. Nepo mirrors, with 19 tort. Erfione. Rook joins the central clash. The rooks glare at each other like gladiators circling the arena. Hikaru calmly shifts 19. Domokum week hen, adobus, henna, another vincam. And 10. Re7. Rook doubles up preparation, waiting for the perfect strike. Hikaru's patience is deadly. Nepo shuffles 20 tier. B-Fung. Bishop retreats to guard the king's flank. Ian fortifies, preparing to resist the storm. Hikaru doubles with 20. E. Eninmanai. Kyo. NDL. Ray 8. Both rooks now shoulder to shoulder, aiming at e-file like cannons lined for bombardment. Nepo plays 21. Tachiwan say. BC3. Bishop takes aim at the queenside diagonals. Ian says, 2 can play the long game.
Nana was, Nandy Wadin, is sailorboard, and Nick Che.
Hikaru slides 21,
Pes. Ante Andia. And then, Pentarubune.
Ha6, a pawn push to secure the knight, and kick away back rank ghosts, quiet but poisonous.
Nepo boldly, advances, 22.
Kf2, king walks into the center. Ian's monarch wants to fight in person, daring Hikaru to challenge him.
Hikaru
leaps 22.
Und Pendei.
Eng4. Knight checks the king like a lightning strike. Hikaru cackles. Where you running now, Ian? Ian?
Undamian. Then it was.
Nepo sidesteps 23.
Kd3.
King scuttles away, looking exposed, a nervous shuffle under the knight's glare. Hikaru coolly returns 23.
Nat. Anandizimen. Alamokio. Invengeniste.
Eng f6, knight pulls back. Still central and menacing, Hikaru shows he can tease Ian into awkwardness. Nepo returns 24.
Perst.
Kf2, king steps back to his camp. The monarch looks lost, ping-ponging in desperation. Hikaru repeats 24.
Nuru. Hsim. Wananarin. 1.
Engafore, another check. The knight harasses Ian's poor king like a bully kicking the same door again.
Wah.
Nepo finally shifts 25 carats.
Kage.
King huddles on the back rank. Ian seeks stability after the dizzying dance. Hikaru calmly 25.
Pisti.
Anae.
Can. Noisy.
Enge f6, knight withdraws, but stays poised, patience, still tightening the noose. Nepo shoves 26.
Ive.
Pawn storms forward like a battering ram, slamming into black structure. Ian tries to open chaos. Hikaru answers 26.
Innes. En Antje. En wones seine Planetin.
End fight. Knight tucks back to safety, ready to redeploy and hold the fortress. Nepo lifts 27.
Tentuanista Zen de Cordon. Dadati Tramutina right terror. Chanadinate.
Hey. Pawn securing the knight's landing squares, prepping for g4 ideas. Ian grows restless. Hikaru creeps 27.
Pedero Troya Nasumetsuloisada. Dinas 27. Endizen. Kionent.
And.
Iden.
Nate 7. Knight shuffles with sinister intent. Hikaru repositions with patience of a predator. Nepo strikes 28. Re 3. Rook lifts up. aiming for the third rank like a crane bringing reinforcements. Ian looks for counterplay. Hikaru calmly retreats. 28. Nay. Enten. No, net is sedien, and head a stay. Beep 7. Bishop steps back, eyes on diagonal again, a poisonous stare from afar. Nepo trades. 29. Petstavora klipsu 9. Axis 7. Rook smashes black's rook with a loud crack. First heavy piece exchange in the center. Hikaru instantly recaptures. 29. Padowain. And so. Endi. And it dies there. Is dol in there. Axis 7. Rook slams back, no compromise. Hikaru keeps the firepower balanced. Nepo reloads. 30. In Benorden Jewish. Rayone. Rook repositions to the central file. White clings to control of the e-file. Hikaru goes 30. En dan. Accione. Rook challenges and captures. Hikaru trades down, sharpening the knife for the endgame. Nepo recaptures. 31. Pedestal. Bision. Bishop takes the rook. The field clears, fewer pieces, but tension rises. Hikaru posts. 31. 31. Omonits. Andaina. Endanasessa. Aha. Before, bishop retakes dominant outpost on e-file. Black's bishop is a spear pinning white's army. Nepo brings 32. Tua Sorinisint. Kai. Kf2. King returns again, like a tired commander stumbling between trenches, exposed, yet determined. Hikaru Yoms. 32. 32. Panmeyi. Anyanane. Andioman. Henry. Isioresti. Eng 5. Knight lunges with teeth bared. Hikaru's pieces surround the enemy like wolves circling. Nepo boldly. 33 Chai. K3 King marches upfield, leading troops in person. Risky but heroic, Ian refuses to cower. Hikaru reinforces. 33. And C. Ini. Idema. Fight. King comes forward. Hikaru's monarch joins the brawl, fearless in the middle game. Nepo jabs. 34. Teulbus 7. G4. Pawns advance like soldiers with spears, pushing Black's knight back, Ian still fighting for space. Hikaru steadies, with 34. Noise. Enjadiste. One nay. K7. King takes central ground, holding firm. Hikaru builds a throne in the middle. Nepo places. 35. Bg3. Bishop realigns, eyeing key diagonals. Ian searches for harmony amid chaos. Hikaru calmly steps, 35. Nondigne. Kate's even. King sidesteps to safety, prepared for the grind. Hikaru says, "Welcome to my kind of war." Nepo centralizes with 36. Bitu bishop points back to defend, like a loyal guard stepping beside his king. Hikaru lifts, 36. Nazian, anin sel wodari kunes shinin, tabium neneshia. Aninjil, anyone yesterday. B-cheese. Bishop swings to a new diagonal, a sniper rifle suddenly aiming across the board. Nepo, calmly, 37, 2. Bidon, bishop slides back, waiting for the right moment. Ian keeps his formation flexible. Hikaru strikes, 37 to Ordian. And show. Oh no, winning. Investigations sabia. Andil. BG2. Bishop steps deep into enemy lines. Hikaru's dark bishop looks like a dagger under the ribs. Nepo captures, 38. A4. Pawn storms forward. White wants to chase off that poisonous bishop Banerjee. Hikaru solidifies, 38. Dainty. Allah. Engafor. Knight anchors in the center, like a warhorse stamping the battlefield. Nepo pushes, 39. Parai. Kafua, king boldly advances. Ian gambles everything, walking his monarch into the fire. Hikaru calmly checks, 39. Enda, Christian Tenji, Dainin, Gesto, Den. Day. NLT. Knight leaps in with a sting. Ian's king is tested. Nepo runs 40. K3. King escapes, still pretending to be a warrior on the front line. Hikaru pulls, 40. Yeah. Saying. NF6. Knight retreats, but stays ready. Hikaru waits for his moment. Nepo hurls 41. KD2. King shuffles sideways, searching for a safe trench. Hikaru calmly pushes 41. Tuanistan in Antebes tender. Nah. Now bien. Anti. Bifon. Bishop parks, like an immovable statue, cutting across the board. Nepo nudges, 42, Tashonach Tillen. B. Pawn support. White tries to carve a little breathing room. Hikaru slices, 42 Ristori Mulan. And Antonio, was this, Ananai, and Owen. ND5. Knight storms into the outpost. Hikaru dominates the center. Nepo replies, 43. Peshtin. Bf3. Bishop stands guard, shielding squares for the wandering king. Hikaru counters, 43 Destin. Yes. Oje, and animan said, Ikirije. On. Ah. NB4. Knight jumps menacingly close. A war drum beat against White's camp. Nepo blocks 44. A3. Pawn chases the knight. White tries to kick away the intruder. Hikaru Kuli 44. Nengambanda. Ishie. In and Natu. Knight tucks away on the rim, still dangerous like a hidden assassin. Nepo improves, 45. Bayon. Bishop swings back. White plays slow defense, still holding the fragile camp. Hikaru answers 45 Testin. Oh men. She was sending me say, in das Tennen. When he down, he's an B4. Pawn rips open the queenside like a cannon shot. Black presses for space. Nepo captures, 46. Afur. Pawn challenges back. Tension rises. Hikaru slams, 46. Andizai. Anti. A6. Bishop jumps into the attack, glaring down the diagonal like a burning laser. Nepo calmly, 47. Tantaresid. A4. Pawn defends. White walls off the bishop's fire. Hikaru returns, 47. Ninian. Terceuriomis. Pestis. Bxt3. Pawn captures with check. The wall collapses instantly. Nepo recaptures, 48. Petagenantelnan. Kc2. King steps back to cover. White's monarch tries to restore order. Hikaru brings 48. Pestid. And is still. Apandin and Ikani. Mr. Stanis. NB4. Knight checks again. Hikaru's knight is a relentless hammer. Nepo answers, 49. Pestesu. Kxt3. King captures pawn. Ian bites back, but the king is exposed. Hikaru, calmly 49. Endiomo. ND3. Knight leaps into the center, planting a deadly spear. Nepo dodges. 50 Torigen. In the movement 210 is in pitch to all. BT2. Bishop shields the king. Ian tries to plug the holes. Hikaru hunts. 50 Pacey. And none. And Animia.
Angelou Kiorluan, Angelou, Enchat. Inni, Istanwiden now, Tinishain, Istanishulida, Munban, Imuridantia, Ilgia. Nefiv. Night shifts again, circling the white monarch like a wolf. Nepo returns, 51. Biane. Bishop pulls back, full defense mode engaged. Hikaru swings, 51. Tet-2. Nina zistuan. Essentruazi ambeten, Hemisch. Nests. B-Fawn. Bishop takes a proud post. Hikaru builds a cage around Ian's king. Nepo plays, 52. Ice fee. Case T2. King slides, looking for air, but the walls close in. Hikaru calmly 52. Touchdown. Antomai. Antonen. Tabistien ondigke. Kimbanisiwan and Anastanian. BD3. Bishop check. The spear drives into White's heart. Nepo retreats, 53. Kone. King falls back, cornered like prey in the hunting grounds. Hikaru fires, 53. Ante. N. Before, Bishop posts up, slicing through the board like a blade across White's lungs. Nepo resists, 54. Betul, Bishop shields, Ian clings to scraps of defense. Hikaru slams 54. Nenin. Ai. Andeni. Afiv. Pawn storms forward. The Black Army keeps gaining ground. Nepo lifts 55 to Doi. Bidonne, Bishop back. Pure survival instinct now. Hikaru drives 55. Underweine, en Bobius says. Mondian oni mei. En sin. En nobe bok tolje. En die on move, of en ebenai. Ein Jardin. BD3. The dark bishop anchors again, a guillotine, above the king's neck. Nepo creeps 56. Kabetuo. King flees sideways, but the battlefield is shrinking. Hikaru punishes 56. Enche. Onensei. Power. Pawn rams down, cutting off air. Nepo trembles 57. Tortoise. KC3. King shifts desperately. Every step feels like a trap. Hikaru 57. Punta. Nacht. Dunda. Bifan. Bishop freezes White's camp like a curse. Nepo clings with 58. Totoden. BC2. Bishop tries to hold the floodgates. Hikaru unleashes 58. Einen. Hier stimmen. Ein Design. Anjahren.
F3. Pawn becomes a monster, charging to glory. Nepo blocks 59. Before bishop drops, last wall in front of the pawn. Hikaru calmly 59. Indinana. Inch. F2. Pawn. One step from coronation, unstoppable. Nepo grimaces. 60 or 10. KD2. King rushes back to stop it, but it's too late. Hikaru finishes 60 turn. Penanbowidasameshsalian. Istamentelwoyen. Panolonessemen. Chimokdemokshin. Nani? Nee. Bazix. Bishop covers promotion square, like a sniper guarding the crown. Nepo shuffles. 61-13. Bgta2, bishop begs for counterplay, but Ian is bleeding out. Hikaru marches. 61 pivot. Nian Pei. Handayanen in Palptomain, in Gesiumo, Anta de Lorida. Teen. En Wunasune. For AQ, pawn becomes a queen. The battlefield tilts completely black's way. Nepo gasps 62, Doriandion. Bx f1. Bishop sacrifices to kill the newborn queen, Ian's last heroic act. Hikaru instantly replies 62. Penwencho piwan nezen, suinatesh sv, tuononin, esiganel toke. Onene, is sen. Andanande. Bx f1. Bishop recaptures. Black keeps the stranglehold. Nepo 63. Dat koe. Cat c3. King circles like a hunted animal. Hikaru 63. Yan. Newis. Yeah. Manibenu. Kf7. Black King calmly enters the war. The general himself steps forward. Nepo 64 Terstien. KD2. King still running, but nowhere to go. Hikaru 64 Teruyen. Modestes animes ahead. Underden. Bondenon. Nosten. Andon. Tennisel. Moidizatimen. Ios solen pendes traene. K6. King marches, sealing white's fate point. Nepo 65 destroyed. Kione, King hides in the corner, a trapped rat. Hikaru 65 to 65. Annen, Petron. Anti-Kain. Theoboyes. BD3. Bishop locks the cage shut. Nepo 66 top 6. KD2. King still trembling, stuck in chains. Hikaru, 66.
Penn the Nobumus Seinen, Pennamuvenation 66. An intern. And the Noms, Mina, Iteste, Intelligestia, Kiasti.
BC4. Bishop cuts diagonals, all exits gone.
Nepo 67, Penterne.
Case D3. King staggers once more.
Hikaru, 67, Pokte. Tobes Septiandesi. And here.
KT5. Black King dominates the center, a tyrant on the throne.
Nepo 68, Pettoni Ways, one name pose 68.
B4. Pawn throws itself forward in a desperate counterstrike.
Hikaru,
smashes 68.
Nitsi I am main. And Stöstjen.
Axe B4A. Pawn captures with check, the last wall falls.
Nepo, 69, Petsti.
Kx B4. King takes, clutching at hope. But it's hollow.
Hikaru calmly 69. In Moniastin, and en Pei. In Mionc.
B2. Pawn races down the board, and here Nepo resigns.
The war's over.
Hikaru's Black Army has crushed everything in its path. Endgame explosion. Hikaru's precision turned into a strangling net, every piece dancing together, every pawn a bullet. Nepo's king ran across the battlefield like a fugitive, only to be caged and suffocated. What a brutal, fiery finish! I'll end the video here. Please, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll keep finding the best and newest videos to share with you. Thank you so much, and I wish you all happiness and good health.
Mon Neniel, Nentaurilo, Adnes Pen.